You grow with kids with is that the cars are for boys and the dolls are for girls. Why this is the case?
Today we are with Samar ElMnhrawy, who is the Vice President for HR for Africa, Middle East and India. Thank you very much and welcome to the Autofocus Podcast. Can you just tell us your experience as a professional woman in the corporate world, if you can share some stories with us?
I think there is a real and a false perception about how women can progress in the corporate world. But it all alludes to the personality, actually, of the women and how they can progress with their careers.
Feminism, if we go back, is a 100-year concept, and it's evolved and changed. Women empowerment is also a concept that over time has evolved. Over the last 20 years, how have you seen this topic evolve?
Yeah, empowering women hasn't actually progressed lots over the last, I would say, 15 or 20 years, although there is a lot of conversations about it, there is a lot of forums, there is a lot of discussions, there is a lot of behaviorals that you're expecting companies and corporations and governments to adopt. However, it hasn't been progressing. I've seen leaders or male leaders or executives who are actually talking the talk without walking the talk, in a sense that they're not taking best bets. They will probably take their bets on a male incumbent more than a female incumbent. There is a tendency among females psychologically is that they will wait for someone to come and tell them, this opportunity is available. So taking the lead is very important. It's a multiple of factors that we need to address all the factors, make females comfortable in the jobs that they can do, and they can raise their hand and take actually a risk.
What are some of the best practices and initiatives that Nissan has right now, both globally and regionally, around this space of empowering women, but also increasing diversity, being more inclusive?
Right. We're actually starting from the top and also from the middle level, kind of. As I said, the middle level is the bottleneck, which we usually see. So we're starting with appointing actually a diversity and inclusion leader for the region. That she already started. We announced her. We're actually requesting our talent acquisition team to bring 50% female resumes, to look into actually interviewing them and give the exposure that is needed to the managers, even if the managers are not selecting them, but just changing the habits is very important. Better to have a team with a multiple backgrounds, the diversity, bringing different ideas. It's actually strengthening the corporate environment and the corporate culture.
What advice would you give, and really there's two categories, would you give to a woman who either reluctant to join the automotive industry and the women who really want to join the automotive industry but they don't know how? What advice would you give those two categories?
Right. There is lots of technologies, lots of momentum. It's a very fast moving kind of industry that can attract lots of people. And actually the people working in this industries are very fascinating because you will have the entrepreneurs when it comes to marketing and sales channels, you will have distributorship, you have supply chains, you have planning and which kind of models you're bringing to the markets and the consumer needs and all this stuff. So it's a really good industry. The automotive industry is very inspiring because it's not about the cars, and I know that lots of males like cars and we used to think cars as toys, but there's lots of technologies behind it. And we understand that females actually are major decision making in a car and buying a car. So it's very shameful not to have 50% of the decision making of purchasing a car being a female, and not having 50% of our employees are coming from a female. I'm not seeing this as a forum for us to meet and just feel good about ourselves and just leave. How many lives we're going to touch is very important, and how many people we will convince that the automotive industry is a good industry to actually be employed and to have a career progression for females and for males as well.